Hello everybody, and welcome back to another Farming Simulator 25 map guide. Today, we're going to be taking a look at ElmCreek. But before that, this video is brought to you by Toten Farmer and Bobby W. Thank you for being farm barons. So the ElmCreek map can be found at the FarmingSimulator.com website or the in-game downloadable content menu, and as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for all platforms. Now, we all know ElmCreek from Farming Simulator 22. At least those of us that played Farming Simulator 22. It was one of the base maps that came with the game. It's been revitalized and returns now for Farming Simulator 25 as a mod map. This map does have 2 required mods. If we factor in the size of the map and the 2 required mods, we're looking at a total download size of 1.04 gigabytes. So a pretty big download. This map includes the main farm right here in the center of the map, kind of in town. 82 fields, several selling stations. There's a biogas plant, but there's a thing going on with it. I'll try to explain it in the video. We have a shop with a workshop. We have, I counted 9 production points, but 10, okay. And then the map has 50 collectibles, maybe. We'll talk about that also once we get into the map. The 2 required mods are the Production Points Pack and the ElmCreek Placeables Pack. With that said, let's jump back over here and take a look at the PDA. And again, anyone that played Farm Sim 22, anyone that played on ElmCreek, well, I think you're going to be very, very familiar with this PDA, because this is exactly how ElmCreek looked in Farming Simulator 22. We do, though, have it modernized to Farm Sim 25, and the fact that all of our new crops in FS25 have come forward in this mod map conversion. So we even have our long grain rice and our regular rice and our other new crops that are part of the new game. With respect to the owned farmlands at the start, we start out here at the starting farm by owning farmland ID 1. That's going to be able to be bought if you select to not own the starting farm for $96,648. In addition, if you do not own the starting farm at the start, all of the buildings here at the starting farm are pre-placed, and all of the machinery here at the starting farm is also pre-placed. So you start out with machinery, you start out with buildings, no matter if you own the farm or not. In addition to owning farmland ID 1, we also own farmland ID 79 and 80. So we have 3 small starting fields at the very start. Just like with the ElmCreek from FS22, love it or hate it, we have marginally useful additional farms on this map. In the upper northwest corner, we have farmland ID 32. On this particular piece of farmland, we can sell the farmhouse. That is it. So very similar to how Giants delivered this map to us and then later updated it. We don't really have a lot of great usefulness at these other farm areas. I was really hoping that we could get rid of all the buildings on all of these ancillary farm locations, but that is not going to be the case. Over here in the northeast, we also have another farm possibility at farmland ID 40. Just like the other farm we just talked about, you can sell the farmhouse here, and that's it. All the other buildings are completely useless. With respect to the 4th farm that is pre-placed here on the map, that's going to be farmland ID 50 in the extreme southeast corner. And on this one, we can sell 2 things, a barn and a farmhouse. But everything else, you got it. It's still fixed, and it's just decorational, taking a complete waste of space. But at any rate, those areas are there, and they are buyable. Now we have a biogas plant here at farmland ID 11. But notice we do not have the option to buy it. If I click on any other farmland, it says buy. I clearly don't own this, but I also can't buy it. In my testing, I used the command to buy all the farmlands on the map. Farmland ID 11 was not purchased. I used the command to buy farmland 11 directly. Farmland 11 was not purchased. I have yet to figure out how to make use of the BGA as a production. You don't seem to be able to buy it, and you can't seem to buy the land that it's on. So I think something's messed up with the coating. And as such, the BGA ends up being more of a decorational item than anything else. The triggers appear to be there. You may be able to sell to it, but that might be all we can do until we do get a map update. With respect to our precision farming soil map, this map is making use of the US soil map that is a part of the precision farming mod. So you can see that our starting fields, well, we've got 2 fields that are basically silty clay, 1 field that is mostly loamy sand. A lot of the fields around us are loamy sand. Fields across the street are going to be a combination of all 4 soil types. But there you go. You can kind of get a general gist as to the types of soil that you're going to find here on ElmCreek. We also have our standard FS25 crop counter on this map conversion. We do not have any animals at the start on our starting farm or otherwise around the map. If you do want to have animals, you will need to put down your own animal husbandry area. With respect to contracts, we do have contracts on this map, and they also include the new Farm Sim 25 contracts. We've got some for dead wood and wood transport coming up here right there. With respect to the productions, I counted 9 productions on the map that include a bakery, carpentry, cereal factory, dairy, grain mill, grape processor, oil mill, sawmill, and spinnery. Again, we don't see the BGA popping up here as available or owned at the start. In fact, we do not own any productions at the start. With respect to sell points, I counted up 9 specific sell points. I assume if you count the BGA, you're going to get to 10. But again, I'm kind of throwing that out there as a wild card as to if the BGA is really going to function until the map gets updated to figure out whatever's going on with respect to Farmland ID 11. We're going to cover our starting vehicles here in a moment. We do not have any hand tools, and this map does list 50 collectibles. And I'll tell you, you can collect at least 1 golden apple. But I believe the other collectibles are also going to need an update because they're all seem to be at one location, and you can collect 1, but then you can't collect any others. I'll show that off a little bit later in this video. Now, with respect to our starting fleet, come here to our garage menu. That is actually the name of this mod also. I know I've had some questions in some recent videos as to the name of this mod. I knew it was garage something. It's called garage menu. It is in the mod hub. We've got our medium tractor, the John Deere 6R 145. We have the Z-Tor HSX 120 small tractor and the John Deere 3650 small tractor. We have our International Series 200 pickup truck. We have the FarmTech EDK 650 trailer. We have the Credo 3 Power Harrow. We also have the Eco Cultivator 300 cultivator. We have the Versa seeder. And then we have our Massey Ferguson 8570 harvester, our grain header for that, and our header trailer. With respect to mods and DLCs, this map does not have any. Now, I will say, if you select to not own the starting farm, well, this field may not be in wheat when you load this up. I did load this map up, testing, not owning the farm, and, well, the AI had planted sunflowers in here. Not very convenient for your harvester with a grain header. But at any rate, I would suspect most of you are going to be playing by starting out by owning the farm, and therefore it will be a wheat field ready to go. Walter's just hanging out here at the farmhouse, but you can sell all the buildings here on the starting farm. We've got our sleep trigger and our wardrobe triggers there. We've got our little barn here, or a service barn. We have our silo, our dump and fill points. And again, anyone that's played Farm Sim 22, played ElmCreek at all, well, all of this starting machinery is pretty much in the exact same spot as the starting machinery in FS22. Now, I want to go down here because, well, if you played this map in the past, you'll know that there's a little hidden back room. And sadly, the little model is not back here. And I want to check and make sure I can use these doors. These doors are not functional. They also do not have a collision. So we are able to get downstairs that way. Around the corner, we're going to find a water tank, water fill point. And that's pretty much the starting farm. This building back here is simply deco. It does not have any usable purpose. We can't sell it though. Let's get a little bit of altitude here and just see once again, we can sell all of these buildings if we wanted to completely redo this area. And if we make our way to the northwest, up to farmland ID 32, we'll find the farm that I farmed a bit when we were doing FS22 at the start. And again, as far as these structures go, they are just deco. Sadly, I really wish you could make use of those. And then this is a farmhouse if you do own this land, but this is the only thing that you can sell. We make our way across the northern part of the map now. We'll find ourselves over at farmland ID 40. That's going to be in the extreme northeast corner. And it would have been nice if we could have sold all of these buildings. But again, the only building I was really successful in selling is going to be the farmhouse. The farmhouse does have a trigger, or at least it appears to have a trigger, if you own this land. And then if we make our way to the extreme southeast corner, we're going to find farmland ID 50. And again, farmland ID 50, we're going to be able to sell 2 buildings. We're going to be able to sell this barn right here. It's actually useful because we could actually go into it since it has no doors, but we can sell that. We can also sell the farmhouse. All the other things here at this area, they are going to be permanent. Now let me take you over here and I'll show you the collectible and where the other collectibles seem to be, but they don't seem to be functional. Hopefully this will get fixed in an update. So we come to this railroad bridge, and you're going to find we have 2 apples just sitting here on the railroad bridge. We pull up our trigger. You'll see we have an R to collect either one of these. And if we go to F5, you can see our triggers there, right? That's what causes us to get R when we collect one. Well, once I collect one, we get our notice, right? We've now collected 51 apple. There's 49 to go. Well, look, the apple's still there, right? And the other apple we haven't collected is still there. We can see the triggers are still there. Yet when we walk up to the next one, it says R to collect. Nothing happens. I'm spamming R right now. Nothing is coming up. If I move down here to the other one and hit R, nothing's happening. Back away, come back in. Nothing is happening as I spam R. So, I'm not sure what's going on there. Maybe a coding mishap, maybe some syntax errors or something. But at any rate, it looks like you can collect one of those apples. If you do run the console command to show all collectibles, this is where the dot is. There's no other dots to show up. So I think all the collectibles are stacked right here on top of each other. But it just seems like after you collect one, you're done. Now with that, let's make our way back over here to our farm. And then we'll explore the sell points and the productions. Right across the street from our farm, we do have our gas station, since we're going to be able to get fuel and such. And if we make our way kind of to the left or west of the gas station, we have our grocery sell point with the dump station here at the loading docks. We continue our way across the bridge. We're going to come to our animal dealer. Again, all of these things are going to be exactly where you expect them to be if you play this map in Farm Sim 22. So you have your animal buy trigger there. You have your bale sell point here around the side. It would have been nice to have seen added to this area the manure and slurry buy points that have become synonymous with the animal dealer areas in FS25, though. Of course, if you never played FS25 or 22, then this will be a maybe welcome addition to your repertoire. We've got our sawmill here. So we have our sell point for logs. We have our wood sell trigger there. We have our interactive icon, and we have our pallet spawn point for the saw point or the sawmill production. Here's where our wood chips are going to spawn. We have our farmer's market sell point just on the other side of the hill. And around the back, we're going to have the trigger for both our pallets and our trailer goods. Let's go back now to the south and kind of make our way down here to the town. And we're going to find we've got our dairy located right here. So we have the trigger there for that. We have our cereal factory. And we have the triggers for those. We're going to have a water trigger at the ElmCreek water tower. Of course, our signature ElmCreek Wolves baseball stadium. This is going to be a train silo, so a train transfer silo. We have our trailer dump point and fill point there. Of course, the train dump and fill point around the side on the trailer rack, the train tracks, and then we have our rent train trigger there. This is going to be our biomass heating plant sell point. We're going to bring logs or wood chips to this location. So we have our dump point there. So this is a farm, or at least it was a farm in Farm Sim 22. And seeing it now, well, it makes me wonder why I didn't notice this as a farmhouse in this iteration of the map. So let's go ahead and buy this farmland. Well, it seems clear it doesn't have a farmhouse icon popping up if we own the land. What happens? Can we sell the buildings? Please say we can. No, we can't. So this is just 100% deco, which is a little, again, disappointment. I would have hoped that we would have been able to sell all of these buildings, because I think this would have been an excellent secondary possible farm location, because it's fairly flat. We've got lots of decent fields around here, some that can be merged for those folks that like to do that. Continue to make our way across the southern part of the map. We're going to have another grain sell point here at this large silo complex. Continuing up the road, we're going to find our carpentry. So we have our interactive icon there. We have our pallet point and our dump point around the back. Making our way back kind of diagonal. We have another rent train trigger here at this crossing. And then Dave is just hanging out here at the trailer. This was another potential place where you could have a farm if you could sell this stuff. But you can't, sadly. Back down here to the extreme southeast corner of the map, we have another ElmCreek water tower, which once again is going to serve as a water fill trigger. Coming up to this little town, we have several triggers going on. We have another train cell trigger here. We have another train transfer silo here, so we can drop product onto or out of the train. You know what? There's a... Let's see if this one works. Well, you better have some way of flying up there if you're going to have any chance of collecting that one, which, again, doesn't seem to work. So we have our trailer dump here, and our trailer fill should be there as well. We don't have the icons, but that should be where those are. Further up the street, we're going to have our stone crusher located here. If we double back just a little bit, we're going to have our grape processor production right there. Here we have our oil mill production. We have our vehicle dealer, which is located right here. In just as a quick reference, right down the road, we have our starting farm. We have the fuel station. That's where we started all this. Mama Joe's Diner is located right here. Well, that was a sell point back in the day, but it doesn't appear to be a sell point now, which is a little depressing because it was a very convenient sell point right across the street from your starting farm. We have our bakery located right here. And as far as our vehicle dealer goes, we have our dealer trigger right here at the door. Let's go ahead and pick up something fun. So our vehicles are going to spawn right here in this large lot. And then we have our dealer maintenance trigger located right here. Here we have the biogas plant, and again, I mentioned we don't appear to be able to buy Farmland ID 11. We don't appear to be able to buy the BGA because we don't have an icon to come up here and interact with this in any meaningful way. We look at our triggers once again. We do have triggers here. We have triggers for our silage bunkers. And we have triggers for what looks like our digester, but where we would typically have a buy trigger, well, we don't have anything loading here. When I walk up to it, nothing happens. So hopefully this gets fixed in an update, because I know lots of folks like to use BGA, especially with these really nice fields right across the road. Continuing our way up the eastern side of the map, we're going to come to our bowling alley. This is once again set up as a sell point. Dump station around the back. Sadly, it looks like they have collected the pins and the ball that was back here for you to do a little bowling outside the alley. This was also, back to Farm Sim 22, this was also, in my opinion, a missed opportunity. This is the loading screen. This is basically the loading screen area. And it would have been another cool little farm to be able to make use of. No, just decoration. How about this one right here? This again would have been another cool little farm to be able to make use of. No, sadly, it's just decoration. Still, it would have been nice. Right now, it's just an AI farm. One of our homeboys, Ben, hanging out here. Further down the road, though, we do have our spinnery, which is located right here. And then we used to have a grain mill. That's going to be located up here. We still have our corn maze, right? So we had the sunflower maze in 25. Well, first came the corn maze in FS 22. We have our flour mill located right here. our pallet point, our interactive icon, our dump point. And then another personal missed opportunity for me, I think, would have been to have done something here at this little area right here along the map edge. Thought this was a really nice building that in mod maps have been used for other things, but felt like it really could have been used in the base map for FS22. And if you've never explored the caves, well, hopefully you have an opportunity to go a little spelunking here on this map. I haven't checked these out yet to see if the cave structure is still here or not. It looks like it is. So yeah, make your way down here and maybe you'll find something fun. See, do these work? Nope, that one doesn't work. That one doesn't work. So guys, as we wrap up, because that basically is going to conclude our tour here of ElmCreek for Farm Sim 25, I'd like to know what you all think of the map. Did you play it in Farm Sim 22? Are you going to give it a little bit of a nostalgia play in Farm Sim 25? And until next time, happy farming.